Welcome to the Worth Listening podcast, where we focus on having positive and productive conversations about money. Join your host, Lauren Williams, four-time Olympian turned financial planner, as her guests share their money stories. We aim to help you own your personal money story and feel good talking about it. Money is a tool that can help you live the life you want. You should feel comfortable listening, sharing, and communicating about it. Now, here's your host, Lauren Williams.
Happy New Year! I'm so excited to kick off the Worth Listening podcast. We kick off this show with one of the NFL's best running backs to ever play the game, Clinton Portis. You've probably heard his name in the news frequently for being a great football player or for the fun personalities that kept sports fans entertained while he played for the Washington Redskins. More recently, though, the news has been surrounding the trouble he has had with money. Reporters tell the story from their point of view, but I believe no one is better qualified to tell your story than you. The purpose of this show is to encourage the world to start having the right conversations about money. The kind that allows others to learn from our mistakes. The kind that is open, honest, and inspires education through conversation. In this episode, Clinton speaks candidly about the circumstances that led to the mistakes he made. He shares with us words of caution and words of wisdom. One of the show's mottos is, you don't have to get it all right to be all right. You will see, despite his mistakes, Clinton is doing just fine. Without further ado, let's listen as Clinton Portis shares his money memoir. Today on the podcast, we have Clinton Portis, who played 9 seasons in the NFL, one of the best running backs to ever play the game, University of Miami Hall of Famer. But we know those are some of the notable things that the world would say when talking about Clinton. Clinton Portis is on the line, and I'd love to know how you would describe yourself in your own words.
Man, I'm just a peaceful person, man. You know, I'm a person who want to make sure everybody around them enjoy themselves. And I think that's great for today's podcast for the simple fact that's where we run into the problems as a Black community, trying to make sure and take care of everybody around us.
For sure. Well, welcome to the podcast, Worth Listening. So let's start off with what your first memory of money was. Let's go way back.
Man, my first memory of money, you know, I came from a family that was hustlers. You know what I mean? I came from a family that was getting money. So I saw money as a kid. You know, we traveled as a family. We traveled, but you really didn't know the effects, you know, because all money ain't good money. And in that situation, you know, I ended up losing my brother. My brother went to prison. Cousin got killed. So me and my mom kind of packed up and left Mississippi to be on our own. That was a transition. And that was probably the phase where you come to the realization, like, I want to be something in life more than a jerk or more than an asshole. Like, I want to make sure my life pan out to be worthwhile. So you go through dreaming, you know, everybody dreams. You go through dreaming all this stuff you want to do. And then the realization comes that you get the opportunity to go to college. And, you know, everybody, I'm going to the NFL. It's not that easy. You know, you got to take the steps. You go through high school, you get to college. Once you get to college, hopefully you get to the NFL. But when you realize how proper those steps is, I passed the ACT as a junior. And that was my first realization that I could go to college. And once I got to college, being able to see Bubba Franks, Nate Webster, Edgerrin James, those guys go off to the NFL and be successful, knowing I practiced with these guys. I saw how these guys played. It structured my mind to say, you know what, if I do what I'm supposed to be doing, I could also go to the NFL. And that moment that you get to the NFL, you know, I remember winning the national championship. I couldn't even celebrate because I'm thinking, I'm out of here. You know, like everybody jumping around and, oh, boy, we're going to do this again next year. Y'all going to do this again next year. So I'm going to get this paper. And when the opportunity came, my attitude, my cockiness was, I remember Boris Banks asked me, say, hey, Clinton, you know, what made you leave school? If you would have stayed in school another year, you would have been a first rounder. And I said, shit, I'm going to be a first rounder this year. That was just, you know, my mindset, the drive that I had in me to go out, be determined to be the best, you know, and it wasn't just about money. It was going out and really wanting to be the best at what I done or what I was doing. And when I finally got the opportunity, I think I was so aggravated and so annoyed when the Denver Broncos drafted me. I didn't get the opportunity to see myself drafted. I didn't walk across the stage. I was on the highway when I got the call. So I think I was so mad and so heated for the 2 years that I was in Denver that I couldn't even enjoy it. You know, like I didn't even realize I had made it because I was so frustrated and annoyed. But that was my first opportunity to get money when the Denver Broncos drafted me. I come out and I signed for $1.2 million. So my first check was like $858,000. And, you know, you hand a kid a check who, you know, got a couple grand in his bank account. All of a sudden you got $858,000. It's like, shit, I arrived. And out of those 858, I had to send 250 to my agent the next day, you know. So I had to send 250 to my agent the next day from where me and Phil had them parted leading up to the draft. Me and Philip Buchanan, my running mate at the time, we had did so much traveling, and you didn't come, you know, we didn't have the idea like, oh, we got to pay these expenses back. So that was my first lesson. You get 858, you got to send 250 to the agent. So I'm already down to $600,000. I go buy a $400,000 house. I bought a Cadillac, you know, I bought a car, had to get my old lady something. So before the season even start, I'm playing with $300,000-$400,000, you know what I mean? Bought my mom a car or whatnot. And that was a lesson. But you felt like you're going to always get money. It's not going to be a point where my checks aren't like this. And I remember that first offseason, you know, of course you get the jewels, you get the cars hooked up, you get the rims, the systems and all that. I remember that first offseason after kicking it and hanging, and I think I had like $225,000 after my rookie year. After I got 850, I think I'm down to like 225, and I get a call from my agent like, hey, we got to send the IRS $100,000. I'm like, what? No, they been taking money out my check. I ain't got to send the IRS nothing. And he was like, no, you still got to pay taxes from the money you made. They weren't taking enough out. So that was a first lesson. Like, we don't realize when you look at $1 million, $1 million is not $1 million. You know, if it's done right, you know, $1 million in the streets, that's $1 million. $1 million in business, after those 42% in taxes come out, you down to $580,000. You don't really realize that you're down to $580,000 because your mindset is based or contingent upon $1 million. So with 580, you go spend $1 million and you're already in the hole.
Definitely. Can you talk a little bit about the cost of being an athlete? You talk a lot about like all the different things that come out of that paycheck, but there's some other things that I think listeners don't know that athletes have to pay expense wise. So can you talk about some of the things that you needed as an athlete to be able to be the best at what you needed to do and what the cost for stuff like that was?
When you add up everything, all the unknowns, you know, for me, I get a weekly massage once or twice a week, my entire career. If you really look back at a weekly massage once or twice a week, if you got a masseuse, you paying her $200 a walk, that's $400 a week. At the end of the year, that adds up to a lot of money. When you're traveling, when your family is coming in, flights, the tickets for the event, the food that you pay for, just because everyone is there, the transportation to and from wherever they're going. So you don't factor all that in. You know, it's just like, oh, everybody got to get to the game. Well, that comes out of you. You got to pay for the gas. You got to pay for these flights. If you get hotel rooms, you got to pay for hotel rooms. The well-being of you once you start traveling. You know, young people early on, as myself, and, you know, it's not hidden. When you're in their life, like the responsibilities are wanting to live up to their expectations. You know, you got these little side chicks, and you flying them, you know, oh man, let me buy this $200 flight. Let me do this, let me do that. And all of a sudden, those add up. You buy a $200 flight, $400 flight, you know, then your family come in. You spending a lot of money. And people don't really take that into consideration when they're doing it. Like, it's just like, oh, I got these $200. But, hey, $200 for 30, 40 people, all of a sudden, that's $6 grand to $8 grand that you don't really take that into account in everything else that comes along with it. Everyone else's problems become your problem, and it's your biggest problem because to them, they already figured out how to get through life with whatever it is. You know, some people, the content livers that's content with their environment or content with their surroundings, that know how to live, that know how to get through. You know, they don't have a lot of expenses, but once the expense build up, like they know how to maneuver around it or pay a little bit on it. But they call you like it's a dire need, you know, and you gotta come through because you're like, oh man, you gotta save me. You know, I don't ask you for anything, and now I need you. I need you to be here right now. It don't matter what you got going on. In their eyes, it's I'm asking for $5,000 or $10,000 today, and I know you got it, and I need it. So you hurry up and dish it out. You know what? This is one favor. You just asked me for 10 grand. Here go to 10 grand. Don't worry about rushing to pay me. That's the worst thing you could tell a family member or a friend or anybody. Oh, you ain't got to pay me back because that 10 grand is gone. If you know it's gone, they know it's gone. So it creates a friction between y'all because once you stop saying, don't pay me back, and the first time you call and say, hey, man, what's up? That money you owe me or that money you borrowed. Oh, man, I ain't never asked you for nothing. Yeah, I thought you would shoot me that little bit. What you mean? You thought I would shoot you that little bit? The pressure from everybody else. And, you know, one day you got to sit down and come to the realization. Somebody will come to you. Oh, man, I got to do this for my old lady. Well, I ain't the one putting my meat in your old lady. You ain't never shared your old lady with me. So why in the hell am I helping you take care of your old lady? Oh, me and my family member want to go here. Me and my family member hasn't been there. You know, and once you break it all down, somebody will come to you. Oh, we about to get kicked out of our house. Well, I never stayed the night at your house. You never invited me over when I was in town. You know, when you get in a similar situation, you come to the thought process like, who called to check on me and my lady? Who invites us over? Everybody comes stay at our house when they in town. Oh, we got somewhere to stay. But let me touch down in their city. They not open doors. I can't run in their house and do the same thing. Oh, man, my girl be tripping. Yo, girl, like, that's the same girl you was hitting in my house. You hit your girl in my house. That's how she became your girl.
Right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about then, is that the attitude for your whole profession? So there are some stereotypes around the NFL. And some of the things you're spitting are, you know, they run in line with those stereotypes. But is that the attitude about money throughout the whole profession? Were there some locker room talks about money? Did you see some other players doing some different things? Or like, what's the culture like as it pertains to discussing money with other players and, you know, getting the education you need to be better off?
You know what? Money is really not a topic in the locker room. The only topic in the locker room is who getting the money or who about to get money. But you don't talk about money management in a locker room. Everybody in the locker room kind of private and wants you out of their business. So what you have to do is surround yourself with the right circle. You know, you buddy with somebody who's not doing anything. You know, I mean, I came from the U. I'm clicked up with the U. And our conversation was different. And people admired our relationships. People admired our bond. I didn't converse with a lot of people because I don't know these people. And I never want you to feel like I'm, you know, like it's, as an athlete, you feel like you're not in somebody's business. If somebody comes sit down next to you and start talking about it, then you listen. But I don't walk up to no man like, oh man, what's up? What you got going on? How much money you got or what you involved in? So it's kind of like a hidden secret in the locker room. And then you have these guys, the guys that you should be talking to, this guy who already graduated, who's probably a free agent that's trying to make it, that's thinking like, you know what, once I get this $500,000, then I'm going to secure myself for the rest of my life. I'm going to go and put it in this or invest in this. You're thinking like, oh man, he planning for after football. Whereas African Americans, like, we really don't plan for after football because we don't see the big picture. We don't have that leeway or access to the money scheme that they do. Like, they're financially aware. And, oh man, you know, they could take $500,000 and go invest it in the family business or, you know, flip this somehow where they're going to get money, a residual income forever from that. Whereas we feel like, oh man, you know, we got to go out and build from ground up. We don't have that easy access of someone because we're the millennials. We're the one that really started getting this kind of money. So you're taught to believe in somebody that you shouldn't believe in. You're taught to believe in somebody who don't have the kind of money that they're holding for you. So you go out and you're giving $1 million to a man who never held $1 million before, thinking he got your best interest in mind, when in reality, shit, he just as excited about getting your $1 million as you are about this venture that he told you about.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about that. So what was the process like for finding someone to manage your finances? So you get drafted, you have an agent, that stuff is taking place. Now, how does that process work for you to go about finding someone that helped you manage your finances? Like, where do these people come from? Like, what was your experience for that?
You know what? The realization, these motherfuckers fall out of the sky. Somehow they fall out of the sky. They fall into the perfect position to sit and have a conversation with you. They catch you in a setting that allows them the access that they shouldn't have to you. And you don't need a financial advisor. Take your money to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, SunTrust. Go sit down with one of the advisors in the bank where everything is insured. If they do anything wrong, they're going to be able to replace it. All of this, you fall into, oh, you know what? I'm going to go with my homeboy because I know him. Your homeboy don't know what he's doing. Or, oh, I'm going to go with this person because so-and-so with him. And both of y'all getting fucked. It ain't now, instead of just one of y'all getting fucked, both of y'all getting fucked. So what you really should do is go with a big firm. Don't all this, I'm going to start helping a firm grow, this new firm coming up so I can be their main client. They're going to pay attention to me. No, they're going to milk you. What you go do is go to an established firm that's been around for 100 years or 200 years, that's not going anywhere, that has plenty of money, that has the money for the rainy day. If anything ever happens, here's your money back. Because they don't want that negative attention. They're not going out of business tomorrow because they screwed one person. And that's what we have to get to. Stop trying to help your friends out and put your friend in position to be the one. Oh, everybody. Oh, man, you need to help me get on. You need to help your homeboy out. Fuck that. You don't need to help nobody out. Help yourself out. Make sure you secure your longevity. And, hey, tell them the same thing you do. Get it how you live. That's how I had to get it. I had to get up every morning at 5 or 6 and go spend my whole day perfecting a craft. So you go do the same. And when you get your break and when you start getting money, let's meet up on after we get the money. But you want to bring everybody up and help them get money instead of, now my mentality is my circle has totally changed. The circle that you run with as a kid, when you're doing all this shit that don't matter. If our conversation not about money, I can hang with my kids to play around. I can go sleep peaceful in the house next to my woman instead of flying some whores across the world. Like, I don't have to do that anymore. But you got to grow out. You got to come to that realization and say, you know what? I can have just as much fun in my house as I can doing this with X, Y, Z outside. So once you change your thought process, the sooner your thought process changes, the sooner you can enjoy your immediate surroundings, the people that really matter in your life, because the others disappear. They disappear. The best friends, the so-called side chick, the girl who've been fighting to be number one forever, they gonna disappear. And them people that really rock with you, the solid foundation that you knew was solid from day one, they gonna be there. Through hell and hot water, they gonna be there.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit more about the family aspects of this that you're saying, different women and make themselves available to you. But what is it like when you're actually looking for, the one, or trying to find a spouse, or, how do you handle that with someone being a person who's right in front of the television, the cameras, the spotlight all the time? Like, what are you thinking as you go and look for someone who is the right one, who is your, your spouse or your forever person?
You know what? They gonna find you. You're not really looking. You don't go out searching. The realization is you don't just, I'm searching for the right one today, and you find the right one. The right one comes around, and it's that person that persevered with you, that sits through the storm, that like maybe you overlook it at the moment, and you come to the realization, like you're stuck in the house during the hurricane, and all the cable out, everything out. Y'all got candles. And, it's dark, it's stormy, it's rainy, nothing works. You all got to make do. Who was that person in the storm with you? Who was that person, walking through the house, lighting the candles or fixing that ham and cheese, that ham and turkey sandwich? You know what I mean? Not the person who, soon as it clear up and you can go outside, hey, let's go to dinner. I've been stuck in the house eating turkey and ham all week long. Now I'm ready to go have a steak. That person that you invite for the steak, that ain't the person.
That's good advice there. That's good advice.
Yeah, so the sooner you come to the realization, you know what, it's sunny outside. We've been eating ham and turkey all week. So, baby, come on, let's go enjoy a steak. Oh, man, that steak tastes so much better. And the appreciation, because she ate ham and turkey with you. So the appreciation of that steak is so much better. Instead of the person that you just called when you got out on a beautiful day to say, you know what, baby, let me take you to this first class meal. She get here and she pick it. Oh, I don't even want to eat steak today. So what you want to do? Like, I don't want this. She been eating something different all week. Maybe she had some steak in the house already, but I did. So you got to come to that realization a lot earlier. So you don't just go out and find this person. This person grows over time. Like, for me, that's what it was. This person was always around. I did so much stuff to fuck it up, so much stuff to blow it. And at the end of the day, whenever it's time to pick up the pieces, whenever it's time to mend the broken heart, whenever it's time to apologize, whenever it's time to say, you know what, I was wrong. It was the same eyes that I looked into that I had to apologize to. It wasn't the shit that I thought mattered. It wasn't the person that, you know, oh, this girl here is so bad. Everybody talking about her. She on TV, or she's saying this, or she. That wasn't the person that I apologized to. That's the person whose number I reached over and erased and said, you know what, the hell with her. So all of a sudden, when you realize the pain you create from just stupid, it don't even be worth it. That's the crazy thing about it. You torture yourself to go through hell and hot water for stuff that's not even worth it. But you're doing it just cause. You know what? I'm just going to do this just because.
All right, cool. So since we're on the family tip, you said you have some kids. So what are you going to teach your kids about money? Now that you've kind of gone through these different things and, you know, you've come out, you're ready to take on the world and life after sport, etc. What are you going to teach your kids about money?
You know what? You have to install in kids early. You know, right now you try to give a kid allowance or you give them a goal to reach to get money. And, you know, you want to spoil your kids, and everybody do it. So you go out and you spoil your kids, and then you get to the point where you actually have to teach your kids. Like, when you get something, you give something up. And a lot of times you got to teach your kids about community service early, because kids don't understand that so many people are less fortunate than you. So many people don't have the access, don't get, like, my kids done had cell phones since they was like 3. They can navigate a cell phone better than any human. They probably can navigate better than the text at the Verizon store. And they had iPhones forever, when most kids would just be happy with a flip phone. But if they don't have an iPhone, if they don't have the latest, greatest technology, they feel like they're behind. And we spoil them to the point that you have to say, like, you know, you don't just get because it came out. You have to do something to get it. Like, do you deserve this? What did you do to deserve it? Not because you're good at football. You be a good human, like, be a good kid. Take out the trash, you know, handle your responsibilities, clean up your room, brush your hair, put the shoes where they're supposed to be. You know, like, do these things because you're teaching them life lessons. Instead of like, oh, money don't grow on trees.
That's dope. Yeah. It sounds like you're teaching them a lot of like financial literacy things and, you know, a lot of financial responsibility as well. Like I said, we talked a little bit about like what you've done in the past. Let's talk about a little bit like where you are now. Like, who are the members of your new financial entourage, and, you know, how did you go about hiring those people, and, you know, why do you feel better about the way you set things up going forward?
You know what? Because the people that I deal with now, they teach you. And they show you how they get money. They show you how they grew their money. You know what I mean? And they grew their money by baby steps. You know, they come to you with $1 million. Hey man, I need you to invest $1 million. That's all it costs to start up the firm. So you started up a firm for somebody with your $1 million, and now they're gambling on your money. Whereas these people now, so you know what? It's going to be, let's look at the total price. Okay, it's going to be $100,000 for this investment to get going. So what we need to do is, let's all go $5,000 or $10,000. So now it's 20 people at $5,000. If it go wrong, you lost $5,000. But 9 times out of 10, it don't go wrong. Instead of a quick money grab, it's a slow money grab. You know what? Put these $5,000 right here and just wait. Because this $5,000 is not changing anything. You'll go on a $5,000 vacation. So just put this $5,000 here and let's wait and let it grow and let it grow and let it grow. And the big picture is they like, well, if you get $10,000 back, you made money. You got your money and you made $5,000. Whereas you want to go through $1 million investment and turn $1 million investment, you want to get $3-4 million back on $1 million. When really in reality, if you get 1.25, you did that. If you get 1.1 back, you made $100,000. But because we look at the big picture, oh, I put $1 million in, I'm supposed to get $2 million back. That's not business. That's not how business works. So these people take small chances and they show you, they walk you through it. And if you're not comfortable with it, then don't do it. And if you ever want to get out, you know what? We raise a couple extra dollars. So here you go, and somebody else will buy your percentage. And when you're around people that's focused and fixed on getting money, all of a sudden, all the little simple, silly stuff that you used to do, it changes. All the dumb spending goes out the door. You know, you used to have 5 to 10 cars. Hey, I need 1 car, maybe 2. You don't need 10 cars and just sitting, dying for somebody else to tear it up. So it's kind of teaching you how to appreciate money and how to make money.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a pretty good team around you now that's helping you understand and educating you on the process and, letting you be more involved in it versus kind of handing the money off and, like you said, hoping for the best sort of thing. So how did you go about finding those people? And, after what you experienced on the front end, what kind of questions did you ask these people to make sure that they weren't, the shady people? How was it different after you had already been kind of, messed over when you decided to let somebody help you again?
Well, it's longevity. When you walk in, like I said, you walk into a bank, you talk to the bank advisors, they might go, but the bank got a record of everything. That's the one thing you come to the realization. The bank keep all records. It's nothing misplaced. It's nothing not logged. Go in the bank. It's easy to work with bank advisors. If the one that you talk to all the time just so happened to quit and he's not there, the next guy can pick up, read your profile, and pick up where he left off. It's not contingent upon one person making everything successful. So when you go find these longevity companies, the banks, the wealth management that's been around for 100 years, again, 100 years probably is the benchmark because they're not going anywhere. If they've been around for 100 years, they're going to be around for 100 more. It came from the great-grandfather to the grandfather to the dad, and now they up and running. So you sit and you wait and you go through the patience. You don't have to hit big. Like you already hit big. When you can hand off $1 million, you already done hit big. So what you trying to hit again for? That's the greed. That's the greed of our community. It don't happen that fast. If you look at Jay-Z and how Jay-Z built his wealth, you look at Puffy and look how Puffy built his wealth. Puffy didn't go from Howard University to a billionaire. He did so much in between. He lost so many people in between. He got sued so many times in between. He got screwed so many times in between. Relationships broke. But guess what? At the end of the day, all them people that walked away, all them people who just couldn't take hell, fuck Puffy. I'm tired of Puffy. This and that. Puffy worth a bill.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Who are they? You don't even know who mad at it. There's been so many people mad at him from being successful. Who are they?
So yeah, you turned over a whole new leaf. You got a whole new thing. So maybe what's your policy on loaning people money now? That was something you said you did a lot on the front end.
Hey, don't loan shit. If they can't go get a loan from the bank, they can't pay the bank back, so they can't pay you back. So don't even go through it. And the other realization is when people think you need them, they disappear. So when I went through all this negativity, when I went through all this shaming, what people picked up the phone and called and said, you know what, dog? Yeah, I remember when I was down and out, you shot me this. Well, maybe I don't have that amount, but if this is what I got. If you need it, here you go. They disappeared. So don't reappear now. And that's what made it so much easier for me. Don't reappear down. Because you see me grinding and shining and traveling and doing what I do and back. No, I don't need you to come over now. When I need you to come over, when I disappeared, when you didn't think, when you were sitting here thinking, oh, he broke now. So when you cut me off, you showed me. I wasn't going to stay down. You know what I mean? Like, it was going to be a minute. You got to step back. You got to go through the process. But you ain't going to keep me down. But all them people that disappeared now is, oh, man, you look good. You look happy. Everything good. We should do this. No, we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. Where you at? I'm on the phone with you right now. I'm in Washington, D.C. If somebody else was to pick up and call me, hey, man, where you at? Shit, Africa. My phone ain't even working right now. It's charging. I'm going to call you back. I might be standing up here on the balcony looking at it. Where you at, CP, man? I ain't in town, man. Oh, where you at? No, where you at? So I make sure I say somewhere totally different than you.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing all that knowledge, spitting all that knowledge at everybody. We're going to wrap up with the lightning round. So I got 5 questions, 5 quick answers. Okay, first question. What is your definition of wealth?
Leaving something for the kids, leaving something for the family, being able to take care and support the kids when they get to the same situation you're in.
Okay. You got $20 in your pocket right now. What do you spend it on?
I'm going to hold on to it, depending on what I need. So I'm going to try to hold on to those 20 and just tell them, it's already gone. And we're going to get the stuff that's important, whatever it is that we really need.
All right. Best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I ever received. You know what? It came from my dad, actually. And it was the easiest thing you could do is give up. Everybody got that opportunity. So be different.
There it is. Worst advice you ever received?
To invest in somebody else's idea.
And look, yet another good one. All right. And last but not least, the most meaningful gift you've ever received. Who was it from and why was it meaningful?
You know what? It wasn't even a gift. It was just the carrying the process. And it came from my mom and my old lady. Always been there. You see your mom do something. You see all the sacrifices your mom made for her. When you go back and you look at pictures, you see how fly your mom was, and you realize, like, damn, all of a sudden my mama changed. And she stopped dressing fly, she stopped going out, and she stopped this. But you come to the realization, that's around the time that you start dressing fly. That's around the time that you start being active. And they kind of sacrifice themselves for you. So being able to see that, then you go and look. I go look at my old lady, and she's the same thing for our child, for the kids. To be able to see that, after seeing it, and you gain so much respect for your mom or your parents in that aspect. Then to go and see someone do the exact same thing. My mom made all my games. I always had the support, and she made the sacrifice. And all of a sudden, to go back and you see that your old lady made no sacrifice and gonna hold it down and make sure when you're not around, like you're out getting money. And, you can't be there. But she's going to make that sacrifice to hold stuff down. So when you see stuff like that, it's the best gift you can receive because that's true. That's sacrifice. That's love. That's respect. There's so much that comes along with that.
Yeah, usually the best gifts anybody could ever receive are something that, like you said, is not necessarily a tangible thing. So thanks so much for being on, Clayton. Tell us a little bit about, just to wrap up, what you're up to now, where people can find you, how we can support you, and whatever it is that you're doing. Shout yourself out a little bit.
Man, I'm chilling now. I'm just out here getting this money, sitting here trying. I do a lot of work with the Redskins, freelance, TV, radio, just being around, grinding on the side, getting the hustle on. So we're just grinding back, making sure everything is strategic, everything is planned, everything, instead of rushing into anything. Just take your time, figure it out. The money gonna come. Money is everywhere. It's just up to you to go get it. So once you start getting the money, Sit on it. Be patient with it. Don't go back to whatever it was that put you in that position. You know, and the best thing about it was I was able to take all my L. I was able to sit and not point the finger, point the blame, or blame someone else. Because you know what? That was my fault for not knowing. So now I'm going to know. I know now. And that's the best thing.
When you know better, you do better. Clinton, thank you so much for being on. Look forward to seeing your life going forward and watching you be more successful than ever before.
Already. Peace out, pork chop.
I hope you enjoyed listening to Clinton's Money Memoir. Our goal on Worth Listening is to provide you with information that empowers you to take action in organizing your finances so you can pursue your goals. Quite a few things Clinton shared set us up for some teachable moments. One thing that stands out is money management should be locker room talk, because friends don't let friends have effed up finances, and teammates shouldn't either. You want to see the people that you care about doing good in the future, so you should start talking about it now. We should not be afraid to talk strategy with those that we care about. Clinton also said to beware of chasing quick money. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Wealth doesn't happen overnight, and saving is step one to wealth, so don't forget to save. On every episode, we will have a word of the day. Today, it is certified financial planner. Despite what Clinton said, we shouldn't just take our money to the bank. However, we can educate ourselves about how to hire a certified financial planner, also known as a CFP. All financial people are not created the same. In fact, you could wake up tomorrow and start referring to yourself as a financial advisor. It is a blanket term used by people, some who have licenses and some who don't. But a CFP is different. It is illegal to say you are a CFP if you aren't. A CFP is held to a code of ethics, has to have a certain amount of experience, and pass a 6-hour exam. Knowing the information on that exam qualifies them to take a much more comprehensive look at your finances. In fact, the NFL just made the CFP a requirement for anyone wanting to be registered with the NFLPA to help athletes with their finances. So when looking for help, get a basic understanding of what a financial planner does. Ask what credentials they have that make them qualified to be able to help you with your finances. You know what you're looking for. Don't let them just tell you what they're going to do for you. A sales pitch might be great, but is this really what I need? Remember, a good financial planner helps with more than just investing and should be happy to take time to teach you the things you need to know to feel comfortable discussing your strategy with others. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you found this episode worth listening to. If you have any financial questions, suggestions for guests, or would like to share your own money memoir, please contact us through our website, worth-listening.com.